Give me a sense of, from your seat, the importance of not just your back being steeled, but a state standing strong against an onslaught from a federal government.
I love that because I'm telling you right now, I really believe, I don't know a time in recent history where who your governor is matters more than now.
That's right.
Because like the state's the ball game in many ways. Governors and attorneys general are like, they are the ones who are put in these seats for moments like now. And I remember when I was first getting ready to run and people were like, well, what makes you want to get, why do you want to run for office? Or why do you want to go into politics? Because I'd never been involved in politics for my life. I don't come from that background. And I was like, I want to be the governor. Because governor is a different kind of role. You're a chief executive. You balance a budget. You're the one who sets the direction and the course for where the state is going to go. And I actually love the fact that we can actually show what a different direction looks like and not just talk about it. Like as governors, I don't have the luxury of sitting there and saying, this is bad and that is bad and railing and all that kind of stuff. I have the ability to show a different direction. So for example, and just take so much when it comes to Black culture, Black history, Black businesses, etc. Right? When the federal government decides that they are going to have a full-on assault on banning books and banning history and this and that, do you know what I did as governor? I signed legislation banning the banning of books in the state of Maryland. So in the state of Maryland, you cannot do that. Right? I don't have to rail against how bad this is. I signed legislation that actually says it is illegal to do that in the state of Maryland. Right? So when we're watching, when we're saying, okay, there's this assault, when you look at the bill that was passed, where, and a lot of people have missed this, by the way, there is something, there's a clause in there called a risk-sharing agreement that now happens with our HBCUs. Essentially what that did was that took over 70% of our HBCUs and just put them in a negative financial position because it now means they owe the federal government money. Risk-sharing agreement, look this part up. It's one of the ridiculous parts of that ridiculous bill, right? So at a time when we're watching a federal assault on our HBCUs, and literally this is an existential threat to our nation's HBCUs, what was just put on board in the state of Maryland, I introduced and passed a budget that now made historic over $1.3 billion of investments in our state's 4 HBCUs, making sure they are going to be sustainable regardless of what happens on the federal side.